Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we will be discussing from the 25th verse of the 17th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter is entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali. It's interesting that the chapter title says Punishment and Reward. Punishment we can understand because Kali Purusha was the root cause of all kinds of irreligiosities. But why would Kali Purusha be rewarded by Parikshit Maharaj? That we are going to see in the later verses of this chapter. So the 25th verse. Idanim dharma padaste satyam nirvartayed yataha tam jigrishyatya dharmoyam anrutenai dhita kalihi. The meaning of this verse is, you are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along, but quarrel personified, Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg. Earlier it was described Dharma, which in Satya Yuga was standing on four legs, four pillars: austerity, cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. So in Satya Yuga, four pillars of religion perfectly intact, and then by the time Satya Yuga progressed and came to Treta Yuga, one leg was destroyed, tapasya, austerity. Then from Treta Yuga to Dwapar Yuga, the second leg was destroyed, that is cleanliness. And from Dwapar Yuga to Kali Yuga, mercy was destroyed, the third leg. Now, beginning of Kali Yuga, only that fourth leg, only one leg, the fourth leg, that is truthfulness, is remaining. And somehow, still some dharma is there at the beginning of Kali Yuga. But this Kali Purusha, quarrel personified, flourishing by deceit, by anrita, by lying propensity, lying propaganda, is trying to destroy that leg of truthfulness, of dharma. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, the principles of religion do not stand on some dogmas or man-made formulas, but they stand on four primary regulative observances, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. Earlier we had discussed religion, dharma, means the codes given by God. Nobody can manufacture dharma, real dharma. It is what is given by God in the beginning of creation and coming down in human society through the parampara system, bona fide parampara system. So there are no man-made religions which are real religions. Man-made religion means that is a cheating religion. Or somebody's very strong belief in some system of their own without reference to the authentic scriptures. that is also not real religion. So real religion means there are 4 primary regulative observances. What are they? Austerity, cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. The mass of people, Srila Prabhupada says, must be taught to practice these principles from childhood. Austerity means, what are the meaning of these 4 principles in reality? Austerity means to accept voluntarily things which may be not very comfortable for the body, but are conducive for spiritual realization. Tapasya. Tapasya. What does tapasya mean? Voluntarily accept inconvenience for the body for a higher purpose, that is spiritual realization. And an example is given, fasting. Fasting twice or 4 times a month is a sort of austerity which may be voluntarily accepted for spiritual realization only, and not for any other purposes, political or otherwise. We know one great freedom fighter in this country used to go on fast to put pressure on the government to yield to some of their demands. That is not the real austerity that one should take up. Fasting is an austerity means only for the sake of spiritual realization. Fasting, which are meant for not for self-realization but for some other purposes, are condemned in the Bhagavad Gita in the 17th chapter, 5th and 6th verses. Fasting in the mode of passion, fasting in the mode of ignorance, that is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. It is not going to result in any spiritual benefit. And materially, even if it is in some way beneficial, ultimately it is the cause of material entanglement. Already we are entangled, so we should not do something by which you get more entangled. That is not very wise, that is not very intelligent. Similarly, cleanliness is necessary both for the mind and the body. Simply bodily cleanliness may help to some extent. People know about bodily cleanliness, external cleanliness. But more important is cleansing the mind. Bodily cleanliness is good, but it's not enough. It's not sufficient. Cleanliness of the mind is absolutely essential for a human being. And how is it possible to clean the mind? It is effected by glorifying the Supreme Lord. Kirtaniya sadaharihi satatam kirtayanto mam. By glorifying the Supreme Lord. No one can cleanse the accumulated mental dust without glorifying the Supreme Lord. Chanting Hare Krishna primarily cleanses our mind. Primarily. A godless civilization cannot cleanse the mind because it has no idea of God. Modern civilization is a godless civilization. People say, oh, we are very nice people. We like to follow some principles without any reference to God or scriptures. They say, why do you bring in God? Just be good to everyone. Don't harm anyone. Don't hurt anybody. Be nice to everyone. This is not going to work. For some people, cutting the throat of a cow, it doesn't matter as long as you're nice to all other fellow human beings. Because they believe, oh, cows don't have soul. Now, just because some ignorant person is believing cows don't have soul, because of that somebody can kill that poor animal and it suffers so much, like the human being suffer. If I cut your throat, how will you feel? Same way the cow also feels. And the cow is the most useful animal in the human society. The most useful animal. Even the cow dung and cow urine are useful for human beings. And such an animal they go and kill just because it stops giving milk, or just because they like to eat cow flesh. So this is very, 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 very sinful. And it is punishable very severely by the laws of God. And nobody can escape that. So Srila Prabhupada is telling here, a godless civilization cannot have cleansing of the mind because they have no idea of God. And people whose mind is not clean cannot have any good qualifications, however much materially they may be equipped. In this age of Kali, people are mostly dissatisfied. So everyone is anxious for peace of mind. But how can they get this peace of mind without cleansing the mind? So Srila Prabhupada says this peace of mind was complete in the Satya Yuga, Satya age, because of the existence of the above mentioned attributes of the human beings. Everyone was austere, everyone was clean internally and externally, everyone was having mercy, and everyone was truthful. So in Satyuga, total peace of mind, complete. Gradually these attributes have diminished in Treta Yuga to 3/4, in Dwapara Yuga to half, and in Kali Yuga to 1/4, which is also gradually diminishing on account of prevailing untruthfulness. The last leg of Dharma, truthfulness, is still there in the beginning of Kali Yuga. Just like in Kali Yuga, I'll give you a simple example. Just before the advent of this computerized systems, you would make a reservation to, let's say, travel by flight. They would give you a piece of paper called a ticket given by an airline. And then you pay so much money, lakhs of rupees, but they give you a piece of paper, of 1 or 2 or 3 pieces of paper called ticket. Now, because there is some truthfulness left, you take that piece of paper and go to the airline company in the airport, and then they say, yes, please welcome. You are most welcome to board the flight, and they treat you very nicely. But now with this untruthfulness increasing, what is happening? They have so many fraud people issuing tickets. And unless you go through a proper website, there are so many fake websites, and they have what is called as phishing software, where they will siphon off your money from your bank account, or they will issue you a false ticket when you pay money, and that ticket the airline won't have issued at all. Then when you go with that false ticket, they will say there is no such booking in our website, no such booking. See? So, untruthfulness, so much of untruthfulness. So because of that, that last leg, truthfulness of Dharma, is diminishing. Then Srila Prabhupada explains, as was told in a previous purport, in a previous verse, by pride, either artificial or real, the resultant action of austerity is spoiled. Tapasya is not meant for showing off to others that I am a very austere person, or I am very, very devoted to fasting. It's not meant for showing off to others, becoming proud. It is meant for spiritual advancement. By too much affection for female association, cleanliness is spoiled. The mind becomes unclean by too much of sex indulgence, by too much of sense enjoyment. The mind becomes polluted. There will never be peace, always anxiety. Then too much addiction to intoxication, mercy is spoiled. People become indifferent to others' suffering when they become intoxicated. Either they get intoxicated by liquor, or they get intoxicated by drinking too much of tea, or drinking or smoking cigarette, different, or taking some drugs. They become totally heartless. That mercy is lost in human society. And by too much lying propaganda, truthfulness is spoiled. There is so much of lying propaganda now being promoted. Just like sometimes even, I don't say all, some rare case of course, parents teach their children to tell lies. Example, when they're traveling with the child in a railway train, they don't buy a ticket for the child, even though they're supposed to buy a ticket. And then they teach the child to tell lies when questioned about which standard are you studying. If the ticket checking authority asks the child, which standard are you studying? It may be studying in let's say 8th standard, but it will be told, you tell you're studying in 4th standard. So like this, lying propaganda is increasing now. It's increasing in different places, different purposes, and truthfulness is spoiled. So the revival of Bhagavata Dharma can save civilization from falling prey to evils of all description. And Bhagavata Dharma means to follow these principles, 4 principles for spiritual realization. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.